Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me, our sports podcast where we talk about everything that's going on in the world of sports. We've got a couple more podcasts to go. We've got this podcast. And then next week we'll have a podcast again next week, and then I think we'll probably take a week off. Right? We'll take a week off because the NFL will take a week off. We'll take a week off for that. And then we'll come back with the podcast of the Super Bowl. We'll probably do that Monday, Super Bowl Monday morning. Valentine's Day. Well, what I have done normally, I've done the past couple years, is I've done a rapid reaction on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP20, about the Super Bowl, or rapid reaction about the Super Bowl. And I don't know if I want to do, and then I've used that audio to do my podcast. So, I don't know if that's what I want to do, because I'm doing my other podcast that Monday. So do I want to do two podcasts? Actually, I think the way to do it is probably what I'll probably do is that I will probably do. So you know what? I'll probably do what I've just always done, and that's I'll do the rapid reaction, and then I'll put the audio up for on the podcast. So I think that's what I'll do. So, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and then after that, that's gonna be the last podcast. Sports the game according to me. For a while, as from now on, we go month to month. That's something I've started to do this new year. That I'm going to do a podcast at the end of the month, every month until August, and then August we'll go back again when football starts. We'll start back weekly doing the podcast. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So there we have it. That's the schedule for the rest of the remaining of the year. But let's talk about what happened this week in sports. So before we get into the main event, which was this weekend's divisional playoff games, Lord have mercy, let's check in once again with the third return of the fan NBA All-Star voting. These are the third return that came out this past Thursday. You had to vote until Saturday, January 22nd, to vote for your favorite All-Stars, and then now that claims for 50% of the vote. And now the media and the players will vote, and they will combine to make up the All-Star starters. That's going to happen this coming Thursday on NBA on TNT. That's NBA Tip-Off pregame show, and then next week the coaches will vote, and then the reserves will be re-announced, and then I think a week after that we'll get the schoolyard pick, which is so dumb. I mean, it was a once thing, pick the third, but now it's just dumb, and it really needs to stop. They need to go back to East versus West. So, but let's look at it. Unfortunately, the LeBron James effect happened, and he has taken over Stephen Curry. And, in the Western Conference as the leader, so he would be one of the picks. He's one of the people who would be picking. Nikola Jokic and Andrew Wiggins seems to be in the lead right now. Again, we'll see what the coaches, and not the coaches, but the media and the players, how they vote. Some of these people who are voted may not actually, who voted by the fans, may not get in to the starting lineup. So it's James, Jokic from Denver, and Wiggins from Golden State in the front court for the Western Conference. And then we have Stephen Curry and John Morant in the front court from, in the back court for the Western Conference. I would expect that all of those would change. There's a possibility that maybe Paul George could get more votes as the player and media votes, and then he would surpass Andrew Wiggins. But I think this is pretty much settled in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, I think the front court is also settled. Kevin Durant leads the Eastern Conference in vote total. Giannis Antetokounmpo is next, and then Joel Embiid is next. They're the top three. Jason Tatum is next with over a million and over 1.5 million less than Joel Embiid votes. So I don't think any votes that he gets from players or coaches will vault him into the front court. So I think that is set. I think here is where you can get some things. DeMar DeRozan has 4 million votes. I think he's going to be in for the guards on the Eastern Conference. Trae Young is second with 2.1 million votes in the other guard spot. However, both Zach LaVine and James Harden are a good close behind, Trae Young, about 200,000, more than 200,000 less votes than Trae Young, meaning that either one, LaVine or Harden, depending on how the players vote and how the media votes, they could jump Trae Young, and then one of those two would be the starters in the All-Star in the All-Star game, along with DeMar DeRozan. For me, being a Bulls fan, I'm hoping Zach LaVine does get that. He has been out as of late with a knee injury, but he did play last night in the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I think there's a good chance Zach LaVine could make it. I hope he does. I think it would be good showcase for the Bulls and how they've played this year to get both DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine starting in the All-Star game. And this would be totally wrecked because DeMar DeRozan has been playing small forward all year long for the Bulls, but they had him as a guard, in the All-Star voting. So that's one of those things where, and actually DeMar DeRozan probably even should be. DeMar DeRozan should be, he should be in the front court, something like that, and that would mean that maybe he would be in front of Joel Embiid. Who knows? But he's a guard. They had him as a guard, so he's gonna be a guard in the game. So we'll have to see. But those were the third fan returns of NBA voting. Like I said, the voting ended Saturday, January 2nd. So we should get, we will get on NBA on TNT, the NBA tip-off pregame show. We will get the starters come Thursday. So this weekend was so good. I think we're gonna break down each and every game, and just not like skim over and just talk about it. We're gonna try to break it down, So let's start with the first game that happened Saturday: the Bengals and the Titans. Titans number 1 seed. The Bengals were the number 6 seed. They came in and it started off horrible for the Titans. The first thing was an interception thrown by Ryan Tannehill, and that gave the Bengals a lead. And this was, this is Derrick Henry's first game back, and Derrick Henry didn't look the same, as he did before he left. He had 20 carries, only 62 yards, on the game. Dante Foreman, who had been running for Derrick Henry, he had 4 carries for 66 yards. The thing might have been maybe was to maybe split those up a little bit more and maybe give Dante Foreman more of the carry, more of the load. Maybe because that's 24 carries, so maybe you do 18 carries for Foreman, and then you do maybe 6. Maybe you do 6. Well, no, you don't want to do it that much. Maybe you go 14 and 10. 14 for Foreman, 10 for Derrick Henry, and have that go. Derrick Henry did score a touchdown. I think Brown played very well in this game. 5 catches, 142 yards. Julio Jones was back. He had 6 for 62. Everything was in this game was down to, basically come to interceptions, because he had 3 interceptions, 3 bad times. Now 2 of those interceptions were tipped, so they weren't his fault. And and people want to get on Ryan Tannehill for that, but those interceptions wasn't his fault. They go down on his record, but it wasn't his fault. And to talk about, in the Tennessee defense, they tried their best to do what they could. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. I believe 9 times. That is the first time in the history of the playoffs where, maybe in the history, even in the NFL, was the team sacked the other quarterback 9 times and lost. And the reason why they lost is because Joe Burrow and that offense was smoking. Joe Burrow went 28-37, 348. He threw an interception himself, but he used that passing game to get them in places, and they kicked field goals as well. They had a touchdown from Joe Mixon. Jamar Chase had 5 catches for 109 yards. There was one play where Joe Burrow threw to Jamar Chase, and he caught it, and he took off down the field. And it was really great. Their rookie kicker, he had 4 field goals, including one from 54, including the game-winning field goal at the end to win the game. Just a tremendous game from these two teams, and the Bengals move on to the AFC Championship game, and that's a shocker. You would not have said that. I don't think you wouldn't have said that had you talked to anybody at the beginning of the season that the Bengals were going to be in the AFC Championship game. That was not going to be the case. So the Bengals moved on in the early Saturday game. The late Saturday game was the 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. And this one had involved the cold weather. It started to snow after halftime in the game. The defenses for these two teams were amazing. The offenses were just, and you can really see it. Like Jimmy Garoppolo was 11 of 19, 131, no touchdowns, 1 pick. He threw as they were going in for a touchdown. He was throwing it to Greg Kittle, and it was just he saw him way too late, and the safety was able to jump it. Eli Mitchell and Deebo Samuel. This is what I'm talking about. Eli Mitchell had 17 carries for 53 yards. Deebo Samuel had 10 carries for 39 yards. He split the carries up evenly. They said on the broadcast that Kyle Shanahan had told Joe Buck and Troy Aikman that he wanted to run the ball 40 times. I didn't get to 40 times, but he got 29. So we'll see. We said George Kittle was there, 4 catches, 63 yards. Robbie Gould, good as gold. 2 field goals. That's exactly what they needed from Robbie Gould. The Packers, there's a lot of talk about the Packers now and what it was. And listen, you just have to say it. Aaron Rodgers, even though he was 29 for 225, no touchdowns, no interceptions, he wasn't as good as he was in the past. He just wasn't good as he was in the past. And and he hasn't been good really anyway. When you think about his playoff games, he has not been. They were talking about it on Get Up yesterday. Does he have any signature moments? Like Josh Allen has a signature moment, from the game Sunday. Patrick Mahomes has many signature moments. Jet Chip Wasp, from the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and many others. But does Aaron Rodgers have that playoff thing, even though he's won the Super Bowl? Does he have that playoff thing? And I think he does. I think he does. When you think about it, I think he does. It's that Arizona game from years ago where he threw a long pass, and the pass he threw a Hail Mary, and it was caught. He had that. That's one of his game winning. That's one of his signature moments in the playoffs. But they went to the playoffs and they had a touchdown. What's his name? Jeff Fitzgerald had a long catch and run to the end zone. Then he caught a touchdown, a short touchdown pass to win it. So, yeah. So but Aaron Rodgers didn't just do anything. He threw the ball to. When you look at it, I said 20 or 29 for 225. Aaron Jones caught 9 balls. Devontae Adams caught 9 balls. Alan Lazard caught one, and Mercedes Lewis caught 1. No catches for Randall Cobb. No catches for Equanimeous St. Brown. He had a rush though. No catches for the fullback Dominic Daffy. Nothing. He focused on the 2 guys that he could focus on, and that was it. That was it. The 49ers blocked the punt to score the touchdown, and then the 49ers drove to the field and kicked the field goal, last second field goal. Robbie Gould, who was perfect in the playoffs for kicking field goals, and 49ers move on. And now the question is on the Green Bay Packers. The question is was this Aaron Rodgers' last game in Green Bay? Was this Aaron Rodgers' last game as an NFL player? Was this period? Aaron Rodgers is going to retire? Speak on that a little bit after I get through with this, but yeah, another tremendous game this weekend. It was so awful. That makes 2 consecutive games where the road team won on the last second field goal. But let's make it number 3, right? We got the Rams and the Buccaneers, and the Rams went into halftime with a 20-3 lead. It could have been 27-3. However, Cam Akers, going into the end zone at the end of the second quarter, fumbled the ball. It was recovered by the Buccaneers, and then the Buccaneers went in. And I tweeted out. I hope this does not come back to haunt the Rams, and it almost did, because Tampa Bay came back, scored 10 points in the third quarter, 14 points in the fourth quarter to tie this game up at 27-27 with 35 seconds left. And oh my God, a deep pass to, not deep pass, but a route to Cooper Kupp for about 19-20 yards, and then I think there was a sack on the play to take a timeout, and then on the next play they called Todd Bowles of Tampa Bay called a 0 blitz, and everybody came except Levante David. He did not come. That gave Matthew Stafford enough time to throw deep ball to Cooper Kupp. Now they were Matthew Stafford said after the game that route is called the love of the game route, because you're more than likely you're never going to get the ball running that route, but you're just doing it. That route is clearing it out for the thing coming underneath. It's either a dagger route or it's a slant route. I didn't even necessarily see the route the ring's running, but there's a route coming underneath, and that's where the ball is supposed to go. But but since there was a 0 blitz, it wasn't a 0 blitz, and there was someone in the back, and the linebacker stayed back. He threw it deep to Cooper Kupp, who caught it. They had no timeout. They ran down the field, they spiked the ball, and they brought out Matt Gay, who had missed a field goal earlier in the game, and bam, kicked the field goal, and it was up, and it was good. The Rams win the 3rd straight game that involved a road team, walking off. Walking off the home team. And this game was just incredible. We had a unsportsmanlike penalty on Tom Brady, his first, apparently in the league. We had a turnover for the Rams, and then the very next play, the center snaps the ball beside Matthew Stafford's head. And it was just insane. It was totally insane what this game was. The fumble by Cooper Kupp that was returned, that went for. It was just you just couldn't believe the things that were happening. How Tampa Bay came back to tie this up, and you were just thinking, holy effing crap, here we go again. What the hell is going on here? But in my opinion, the right team won, the Rams. And now we have another question. We have questions about Tom Brady as well. Once again, after we talk about the conference championship games, I'll get into Brady and Rodgers. But the best game of the weekend, without question, was the Bills and the Chiefs. And it started from the very first quarter. Bills took the opening kickoff, took down the field, a Devin Singletary touchdown, 7-0. Kansas City Chiefs get the ball, they went down the field. Patrick Mahomes ran in for a touchdown. It was 7-0. Second quarter, it was a little bit of going back and forth there. Getting the kicking and things like that. The Chiefs did score a touchdown. Buffalo came back, drove down the field at the end of the quarter, and they scored a touchdown, tying it up 14-14 at the half. Kansas City had they came back, they had the ball in the second half, and they did their thing. They came back, they scored a touchdown. Buffalo Bills scored a touchdown. It's going back and forth, and then we get to that fourth quarter, that amazing fourth quarter, where there was just insane amount of just play from both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and it seemed like the Chiefs would score a touchdown, they get up on the Bills, and the Bills would come down, they score a touchdown, and then all 4 touchdowns the Bills had was scored by Gabriel Davis. So that was amazing. For all 4 passing touchdowns, there was actually 5. They scored 5 touchdowns. So you go down and it's a touchdown, and then the Chiefs would come back, and then they come back, and then they start, and then here comes Tyreek Hill, pass to Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill goes down to this, and then they score a touchdown, and it's like a minute left, and you're thinking, damn, can Josh Allen do it? And boy, Josh Allen does it. He comes down, he makes on a 4th and 10, he makes a tremendous play. Not 4th and 10, but like on 4th down, makes a tremendous play. You get the first down running, missing people, and then on the next play, it looks off the safety, comes back again down the middle to Gabriel Davis. He catches it. It's a touchdown with 13 seconds left, and you're thinking, my heavens, it is. Here we are, Josh Allen beating Patrick Mahomes, but boy, there's some others. Now here's where the controversy starts, right? The Buffalo Bills, they don't squib kick it. They kick it out back in the end zone. A lot of people say this is squib kicking. For me, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I don't mind. You want to give them, we want to try to give them the most amount of yards that you can, and they could return it. Byron Pringle is a good returner. Good returner. So you don't want him to try. You don't want him to return the kick into field goal range, and Kansas City had 3 timeouts, so you don't want him to return it in field goal. Now, even though that would take, maybe 8 or 9 seconds of the clock, that still leaves you with, 5 seconds. They can do it. You get, and then Harrison Butker, he's got a strong leg. He can probably kick it even in that weather from like 50, 55. So I understand that. I think they did the right thing. Where the Buffalo Bills defense, where they struggled at, I believe, is what they did afterwards. I don't know why they rushed 5. They were not. They really wasn't getting a lot of pass rush on Patrick Mahomes. When they did get pass rush, it was because of the coverage. The coverage was great, and even then, Patrick Mahomes was able to get out of the pocket and make move and make and run for it. So what they should have done is they should have rushed 1, have five people go back 10 yards, and have another 5 people go back 20 yards. And then that's what they should have done, and they should have played it that way. But especially when the way it comes down, because the first pass was almost like a little screen pass to Tyreek Hill, and he got some yards. They took a timeout. Then the next play was just a seam route up the middle, up the left side, the left side with for the left side of the field. He hits him, and apparently that's not the way it's supposed to go. Kelsey told Patrick he was just going to go into the zone. He was just going to go into the zone. And that's what he did. He went to his zone and he found a hole, and he get down to where they get down to kick the field goal and tie it up. And it was 36-36 and tie game. And then they went, and another thing they talked about, is the overtime. These games, these playoff games, shouldn't be determined by they're determined by a flip of the coin. Well, guess what? Play damn defense. There's an offense, there's a defense, and there's special teams. Play defense. And Buffalo Bills they didn't play the right defense at the end, and they were probably I don't know if they were too gassed or not to play for the defense or not, but whatever. The Chiefs won the toss. They kicked it, and then they drove down the field, scored a touchdown. Yes, it sucks Josh Allen did not get the chance to touch the ball again. But football is not fair. Life is not fair. Life was fair, I'd be in a different spot in my life than I am right now at age 40. But I'm not. So, whatever. Not fair. And you give it to Josh Allen. Listen, I'm not going to have if anybody wants to say that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the game, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm not anything. But for me, for my money, Josh Allen is that guy. That he has just proven to me over these last 2 years just how great he is. And I love the fact he's 6'5", he's 250, and he runs like a gazelle, and he throws like he's got a howitzer on his arm, and it's just incredible. And I love the way he plays, and I truly hope that these Buffalo Bills get to that Super Bowl one day and win it. And they're gonna have to go past Kansas City and the Chiefs to do so. And I think one day they will. I just don't know when, though. But tremendous game. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes really proving they are 1 and 2 in the league at quarterback. And I just told you that I think Josh is 1, but I'm not gonna argue with anybody who puts Patrick Mahomes as 1. But a tremendous game. What an absolutely great weekend of football. And now, let's see what happened on the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. Championship Sunday. It's going to be wild. And so quickly, let's look at the Championship Sunday matchups. In the AFC, the AFC game is the Bengals at the Chiefs, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. That's going to be interesting. The young guys in his second year, Joe Burrow taking on the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. What's going to happen? Bengals have a great offense, but we know their offensive line is suspect. 9 sacks on Joe Burrow. Would the Chiefs be able to get to him as many times as Tennessee did? That's going to be the way to go. And it's also going to be will the defense be able, the Bengals defense be able to get to Patrick Mahomes? Because like I said, the Buffalo Bills pass rush wasn't necessarily getting to Patrick Mahomes. And when it was coverage, and Patrick Mahomes was coming out and running out of the end. So we'll have to wait and see about that one. But that game is first, and then the second and the last game is 49ers at the Rams. The 49ers have beat the Rams in the regular season 6 straight times. Also, and going back with that, there is this thing where it's kind of hard to beat a team 3 times in 2 times in a year, 2 times in the regular season, 1 time in the playoffs, but it has happened more times than not, actually. So, could the 49ers do this? Can Matthew Stafford raise up the game up the Rams? Can he do what he was brought there to do? Take the Rams to the Super Bowl? Or with Jimmy Garoppolo and this defense, would they be able to stop that? And when they offensively, would they be able to break down the pass rush of the Rams and make plays? It's going to be a fun matchup. I think this is going to be awesome. It wouldn't be me if I didn't make a selection. I think we're going to get the Chiefs and the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford's going to do his best to prove that he is what people think he is. But Dan Orlovsky says he is, and that's a great quarterback who was just in a horrible situation in Detroit. I think maybe some of us thought that as well. We thought that maybe he was better than he seemed than Matthew Stafford, but maybe we didn't think maybe he was like great. But I think maybe he's continued to prove that maybe he is great. And of course, we know Patrick Mahomes is great. So I think Super Bowl Sunday, in February 13th, will be the Chiefs and the Rams. For the second straight year, a team will play in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. That will be very interesting. So, like I mentioned earlier, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Rumors are abound. We don't know what they're thinking. Each one has 1 year left on the contract. To me, I would think. Now, Tom Brady said this morning, I guess on a radio show, that it's not going to be about him. We're going to be talking about the family. And if he does retire, he's very proud and satisfied with what he's done. With Aaron Rodgers has said, he said after the game that he's going to take some time, not a lot of time before free agency and anything like that, but he's going to take the time and think about his future. Here's what I say. If I was both, I would, because both have 1 year left on the contract, I would come back 1 year, and I would come back to the teams that they both have. Aaron Rodgers come back for one last ride in Green Bay. Tom, come back for one last ride in Tampa Bay. See if you can get to that Super Bowl. See if you can get your one last Super Bowl. Can Tom get 8? Can he get 8? His 8th one, being his last one. And can Rodgers get his second one? Can he just get 2? I think that's what I would do. I don't know. We know Aaron Rodgers has other things. He's not a fan of the stuff that's going on with the COVID and everything like that. So who knows if he wants to do that again? Because I'm sure what's happening now, I'm sure there's going to be same COVID protocols. He's not going to get vaccinated. He's like Kyrie Irving. He wants to stay down that hill. And there's, please don't take me saying that as as any want. That's not a shoot or anything like that. That's just that's a phrase that we all use. So I'm not saying that either one of them are going to die, but so please don't take that as what I was saying. But he's not going to get vaccinated. He's going to put up with the protocols of wearing masks and being tested and things like that, and that's what is just going to have to happen. And as for Tom, I think for Tom, it's just about want. It's just about want. He sees. I think he says he's going to be family, but does he want to do this again? Because you have to be very thinking. Like, he doesn't eat strawberries. He doesn't eat strawberries. Now, I don't eat strawberries because I don't like strawberries, but he doesn't eat strawberries. But he likes them. I don't think he's ever had a cheeseburger. From a restaurant. Maybe he wants to have one finally. So who knows? But I will say this: if both of them do retire, and then Ben Roethlisberger retires, in 5 years we're talking about the greatest Hall of Fame class there ever will be. Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. There's a possibility that Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle of the Rams, he's a Hall of Famer. He would possibly go in on the first ballot in 5 years. And then whoever else is left for that 5th spot, and then the 2 legend nominees, and then the contributor. That would be the greatest Hall of Fame class of all time, just on the backs of Roethlisberger, Rodgers, and Brady. So that would be amazing. And that would be something. That would be a sight to see. So we will have to wait with bated breath to see what happens with Rodgers and Brady. All right, y'all. That's gonna be this. That's gonna end this week's The Game According to Me. It was a great weekend of football, and we'll see what happens coming this weekend. We've got two big things. Saturday we've got the Royal Rumble, and that's always great entertainment. Love it, enjoy it, watch it. That's happening from the WWE. We'll talk about that next week as well, probably a little bit on that. Obviously, I'll be doing my rapid reactions, on my YouTube channel, so make sure you go there, check that out. I have predictions on Friday, then rapid reaction on Saturday night. And then, of course, the Championship Sunday games. We just talked about it. Bengals, Chiefs, 49ers, Rams. And then we'll have it. And then next Tuesday, and then we'll find out Thursday, the All-Stars. So a lot of stuff to be talking about next Tuesday. So make sure you're right here. Wherever you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe, your favorite, whatever, so that you can come back to this next week and listen to more of it. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.